Hello everyone, my name is Sabarin Alim. You can call me Sabarin. In this video, I'm going to introduce complement phrase. Complement phrase in English grammar. A complement is a word used to introduce a complement clause, including subordinate conjunctions, relative pronouns, and relative adverbs. For example, it functions as a complement in the sentence, "Wonder if she will come." In some contexts, the complement is teaser that can be omitted, a process now known as the complement deletion. For example, "I wish that I had duck feet" can also be expressed as "I wish I had duck feet." The result is called a null complement. In generative grammar, complement is sometimes abbreviated as COM. COM or C, the words that, if, and to. Most popularly utilized complements in the English language, though the list of complements is quite a bit more extensive. Now, the function of the complement phrase. It's important to remember when trying to identify and ask complements in English writing and reading that not all of the words identified as complements exclusively belong to that part of speech. Words like the, while, and if serve a multiplicity of functions, ranging from nouns to adverbs, with each usage meaning something different. Still, complements are not essential to eloquent English usage and style. Even in this article, the writer has used several complements to further point as well as smooth transitions between talk and praise. And now, I will give you an example of how to find the complement phrase. So, complement phrase are phrases that usually start with the words that, if, or whether. For instance, in the first sentence,
I said that John is great. Okay, so John is great is a complement phrase headed by the complement that this is not the same that we see in the determinant. So this introduces another clause, so the embedded clause John is great. Okay, and we can think of this as just another tense phrase or another sentence within our sentence. So I said that John is great. Well, John is great as a sentence on its own, but I said that John is great. So again, this is just a TP inside of a CP, which is inside of a bigger TV. In fact, this verb said takes a complement and it always takes TV complement. So I said that something, I said something, and even if we say I said something, that's still gonna be a tense phrase, but we'll have a complement phrase with an empty head. Okay, so we'll see an example of that in a little bit. The second example I want to show you is a relative clause. So the man that eats pudding is full. Okay. So once again, that eats pudding is a complement phrase that is modifying the head noun man and written. It we see eats pudding as another tense phrase. There is no subject. In this theory is some movement going on which we'll cover later in the lecture series, but its building we can consider that to be as part of tense phrase. Okay, so once again, the man is full is a tense phrase on its own, but within the tense phrase the man is full we have another complement phrase that has a tense phrase within it. Okay, so let's draw on of this just to illustrate. I said that John is great. Okay, so we can start at the top of the app and I will abbreviate the PPS from now on. So I said okay. So this is the abbreviate the PPS from now on. So I said okay. So this is the head of a verb. Praise and it takes TV complement. So sister to Ave and doctor to Ave. But okay, and we have C, which is our complement with that. So that is the head of the complement, and all CPS will take TPS as their complements. Okay, and then we just have the sound structure that we have at the top. So again, we just have another TP, we have a VP within it top. So within it V bar V, and then great is an adjective phrase. So that John is our TP, our purpose is, and then adjective phrase great. I said that John is great. So we have a TP John is great. Within a picture TV, I said that John is great. We also have the fake, the said. Take her a CP complement, which is this whole thing that John is great. Okay, so what are other verbs that take CP complement, which is this whole thing that John is great? Okay, so what are other verbs that take CP complement? Well, they're verbs like know or believe. So I know that John was great. I believe that John is great. I said that John is great. I inform is another one. So I informed something that some things. So this is penis. Active verbs. It takes a DP complement and a CP complement similar with the verb pursues. So takes a DP complement and the CP complement, like pressured the students that my exam won't be easy. And there are the other verbs that we'll encounter as we go along. Okay, so we can really revise all of our sentence
Now, since our tense pairs within complement phrase really just complement phrase anyway, so if complement phrase are the head of this ambit clause, the shouldn't call them in phrase also just be an entire clause. So we introduce TPS as being part of our sentence. So in the sentence, John ate spaghetti, we have a TP, a TP, and a VP. So this part is normal. But we also introduce the empathy complement. So this right. Here, let's really focus on this. So there's a C here and it is minuscule. So this means it is not a question, or in other words, we could say this is like the declarative sentence maker. So with declarative sentence we'll have a minuscule. Here we also don't have anything. So we could leave a blank, or we could write the null symbol to mean that it's empty, and in this case we're saying, look, there's no complement there, it's just an empty complement. So the question is, well, why do we do this? Well, when we have questions and we want to form questions, we'll need a complement in all of our sentences anyway, so we might as well include it for our declarative statements as well. And also, it's not always the case that we actually have an over complement. There we don't always have the words of the in C. So here's another example. John took I diet. So we can say John took that I died, but we don't need the bed there. So how do we take care of that sentence? Well, let's draw it. So we have a subject of a sentence which is John, and then John took something to John. Talk I diet. So what's really going on here? It takes so talk take CP as a complement. So it does take a CP, so we have the same structure, but there's just nothing there. Under C, it is empty, and I diet is a declarative statement. So we have John talk I diet, and we just continue along as normal. So I is a determinant phrase for base, V bar, V diet. So as we can see, if we want to say John talk that I diet, then we just replace the empty C with that. Okay, so this structure allows us to do both the empty complement as well as the non-empty complement. And you might be saying, hold on a second, in the previous slide you just said, wait, all sentence start with TP, right? So yes, I'll start with TP if I was a good person and was sticking to everything I said, that I should have started the sentence like this. So I should have had an empty complement at the front as well as a minuscule and taking the TP as a complement, so this is the correct structure. This sentence no, sometimes we get lazy and usually, but things happen when we get lazy, but the lazy way is that when dealing with sentence that don't have questions or don't have movement or don't make us of the CP. We just kind of leave it off at the beginning of our sentence, and this is something I will be doing in future videos. But I will include the CP when we need it. When we don't need it, I'll get rid of it the sake of space. And to make things look nicer, but generally when you do draw your own dress, you always want to include the CP information on the main clothes as well, okay? So that's it for complement phrase. Next time we'll go into tense phrase a little bit more, and if you have any question, please leave them in the comment below and I will answer them the best that I can.